Hey YouTube, this is Jaden Storm coming at you once again, and I had a question earlier from a guy in my comment section, and he was asking me about a budget link Joker deck. And in this video, I had a couple more ideas. I just didn't want to throw it in with that video because I was talking about link Joker budget as a whole. But I had a couple more ideas because it does seem like right now the main decks out there running around, excuse me guys, are very, very expensive. I mean, Raging Form, Revengers, I mean, I think it's fair to say they're the best deck in the format right now. And Raging Form's like 35 a piece, and or around that area, and then you have your Starvader, Nebula, Lord Dragon, Link Joker decks running around, and you have Liberators and Eradicators are still running around. I mean, and there are some people who are questioning, well, is this game starting to become the new Yu-Gi-Oh? And I don't agree with that at all. Vanguard is there's the main difference between Yu-Gi-Oh and Vanguard, guys, because remember, every single time you sit down to play a Vanguard game, you have to use this. You have to think a little bit, and that's why I think Vanguard will never become Yu-Gi-Oh. But I have a couple more budget deck ideas, and these are all decks that, or at least most of them, are decks that I've either played myself or played against, and I think they are good, and they're good consideration for a budget deck. So here we go. The first one that comes to mind is Dark Regulars Master of the Fifth. Now, I have said in the past that Dark Irregulars, they can get in their own way because you're basically playing Russian roulette by just soul charging, and whatever you soul charge, you have to live with. You might soul charge your perfects, you might soul charge your triggers, or you might soul charge that card off the top of the deck that you really would have rather had in your hand. It's just how it is. But Master of the Fifth, along with the Break Ride, which the Break Ride is like $2, it can get big and really big numbers, and it can lead to the point where your opponent has to take some attacks because they simply just don't have enough to guard it. So Master of the Fifth is a very good budget deck, just for the simple fact being that it can get higher numbers. The only downside, guys, is it's a 10k Vanguard. I have said many, many, many times that 10k Vanguards are just extinct at this point because it's hard to defend them. That 1,000 power difference is so much easier. Being able to attack a 10k Vanguard and the magic number against them is 15, it is so much easier than it is as opposed to the magic number being 16 against an 11. It just simply makes it so much better. That's just how it is. Do I think the Dark Irregular Master of the Fifth deck is a bad deck? No, I don't. I think it's a very good deck and can be very good if it's used in the hands of the right player. But even if it's in the hands of the right player, the right player at times may lose just for the fact being you soul charged all your triggers, or you soul charged your perfects, or you soul charged your this and that. And it's just how it is. It's just how Dark Irregular is. But I do think it's a good budget deck if you're looking for something cheap. Something else that is actually a pretty good budget deck and has kind of fallen off the face of the earth is the Ancient Dragons and Tachikaze. Set 11 gave them a big push. I mean, it gave them a lot of support, and the deck was very popular, it seemed like, for like 3 weeks, and now no one's playing it. True, the deck isn't the best option out there, but it does have a very powerful endgame, and it can get some very high scary numbers while getting triple critical. So I really don't know why this deck has died out. I have surfed eBay, and I have found people selling decks of this with 4 Break Ride and 4 Perfect Guard and 4 Tyranno Legend for under $100. I am not kidding you. Sometimes maybe like 100, 110, somewhere in there, and that is a steal. To the point where if I had the extra money, I'd just scoop it up just to have it. But you can find Tachikaze Ancient Dragon decks for next to nothing, and you can probably build them for less. That's just how it is. If you're wondering why you can build it for less, when you sell a deck, or when someone sells you a deck, they're probably going to charge you maybe $15 to $20 as a convenience thing. And what I mean by that, if this deck, say I have a deck here in my hand, say Jaden is holding an imaginary deck, a little sleight of hand here. Say I'm holding a deck, and this deck, as it sits, is worth $100. But I'm going to sell it to you and ask for $120. The reason I'm asking is I'm giving you a convenience of here's all the cards, and you don't have to hunt them down. and you didn't have to sleeve them. See, if I also sleeve a deck, I throw in a little extra because I'm having to pay for the sleeves. And then if I'm sending it to you, then I also charge you for sending it to you because I'm you know. So if I was going to sell this to you for $120 as opposed to $100, that $20 makes up for the convenience of having all the cards, the sleeves, and the sending. That's how it works with me. And it depends on a lot of things. You know, there are times where the convenience where someone's selling you something, it might be only $5 or $10. But that's why sometimes when someone will ask for a little bit more, because they're giving you something as a whole, where you're not having to hunt down all the cards. Because sometimes hunting down the cards is hard if you do not have access or you can't order them online, or you're not willing to do so. So keep that in mind. Another deck that is pretty budget, and I hate to say this, it's Jewel Knights. I know Jewel Knights have a lot of fans, and I'm glad they do because I don't know what to say about this deck, guys. I do not like Jewel Knights, but it is a good deck if you get lucky in the end game. If you can break ride into Salome, get her to 20, boost her with 7k boost to get her to 27, and then she gains 2 off her own skill to go to 29 and triple damage, and your opponent doesn't have a perfect guard in hand, you're set up pretty well, because they're going to have to drop at least 20,000 to 25,000 points worth of shield to even make it 1 to pass, and then continue to add on to shield, depending on how much they want to guard for. So it is a very scary deck if your opponent is not drawing their perfects, or they're damage checking their perfects, or they're soul charging all their perfects if it's a soul charge deck you're going against. But if you're going to play Royal Paladins as a budget deck, you might even just try and pick up 4 Ashley or 3 Ashley and mix it with old Royal Paladin boss monsters. Soul Saver Dragon, Pendragon, Alfred. I mean, I've seen these decks people have built, and they're still good, you know. And keep in mind, Ashley is one of the better break rides because she gives them +1 critical. Now, Ashley becomes a whole lot better once Broken Heart Jewel Knight Ashley comes out, or at least a little bit better in my opinion. I don't think even with Broken Heart Jewel Knight Ashley, I still don't see Jewel Knights as a top 5 deck, and if they were a top 5 deck, they were that deck that crawled in at 5th. I mean, and that I'm not meaning to insult any Jewel Knight player, that's just how it is. I mean, I really don't see the deck as game-changing. Now, I'm not saying I haven't lost to Jewel Knights, and I'm not saying they're not capable of beating better decks. It's just my opinion. You know, do with it what you will. But Jewel Knights are a good budget deck because they're cheap to build. I mean, the only expensive card in the deck really to buy is Ashley, and everything else is nothing. The perfect guards are like 6 to 7, highest at 10. Or I would probably say 8 to 10 probably on perfects. Your Sybils are $2. Everything else is rare or below, and that's it. So there's really nothing else in the deck that is just, oh my god, expensive. So, you know, Jewel Knights might be a good budget deck for you. Another one that comes to mind, like I said in my Link Joker budget video, is the Schwarzschild deck in Link Joker. Schwarzschilds are pretty dirt cheap. I think I've seen them go for as low as like $5. Maybe lower. I mean, it's because no one's playing it. So Schwarzschild is a good budget deck. What you might also try is if you can buy yourself for the trial decks or pick up enough of the cards from the trial deck to build a good deck. Mainly, out of the trial deck, your main wants are 4 Radons and 4 the break rides and 4 neons. Those are the cards that you want a playset of each. You can also get the promo Dark Band Dragon now for not much since all the other Link Joker bosses are out and Dark Band isn't the only good one anymore. If you want, guys, every week at my locals when we do tournaments, we get promos. If you want some of the promos, I can pick those up, like Dark Band Dragons or the Revenger one. I have those, but, you know, I normally just give them to my friends who need them for their budget decks or things like that. So if you're looking for those promo cards that are a little less expensive and that you might be able to trade for with me or something like that, or even if you're looking for them, I might be willing to just give them to you guys. I mean, and I'm dead serious. I'd be willing to just send them to you because they're really not worth anything to me. I mean, I love Darkband Dragon to death, but I'm going to play my deck over it just because I have this. But if I can get those promos and that's something you guys would be interested in, I'll save those up and try and get playsets of them, and then I'd be more than happy to trade them to you guys. So if that is something you're interested in having me do from now on, when I do get my promos, I'll just start saving those or try and trade for the other ones here and there, and I'll hold on to them, and then I can trade them with you guys. And then the only one here I wrote down here is a Murakumo Shirayuki deck, and that's because Shirayuki's kind of like anti-Break Ride, because when you attack her, you can counterblast its 1 or 2 and discard a copy of her, and the attacking unit that's attacking Shirayuki loses 20,000 power, so it's kind of like an anti-Break Ride card. Murakumo is kind of like anti-Break Ride, or actually it's anti-Break Ride period, because you can play 4 Shirayuki and then that dragon that came out in that extra booster, where if your opponent is going to ride a grade 3 or higher Vanguard, they have to discard a card or they can't ride. You know, so those are another 2 good ideas, but excuse me, these are just some ideas that you can make budget decks out of. I would be more than happy to help you, like, make a list if that's what you need, or if you'd like to see a list, I'd be more than happy to do that for you. If I have these cards, I'd be willing to do it, but I have a Master of the Fifth deck on my channel, so if you want to see that, you can go check that out. My friend Aaron has a Tachikaze Ancient Dragon deck. I think he still has it. If he does, I'll ask him if I can make a deck profile of it next Saturday at my locals. I think I know a couple people with Jewel Knight deck. Actually, there is a Jewel Knight deck. I think there's actually 2 Jewel Knight deck profiles on this channel, so you can go check those out. Schwarzschild deck. I don't think I know anybody with Schwarzschild deck. Maybe Andrew, but you know, these are all just deck ideas, guys. If you want more, I'll try and think of some more, and I'll be happy to share them with you if I think of them. If you would like to build a deck list with me, like I said, I would be more than happy to do that with you. Maybe send you a deck list and give you an idea of what you're looking at. I'm willing to help you guys in any way I can. The whole reason of this channel is for me to help and meet and talk to everyone else out there that plays Vanguard. So I hope this helped. If you have an idea of something you would like to see, please just let me know. Thanks for watching, guys. Comment, subscribe, thumbs up, and I'll see you later.